today we will be doing a pick-a-pile reading using the Marigold Tarot. I did the deck review with the Marigold Tarot on my page last week, so you can check it out in the playlists. And so this is just a further understanding of how this reads for anyone who is interested. So I'm going to get 3 piles of 3, give you a minute, well, a second to pause and decide which one feels right to you, and then I will continue with these mini readings. All right, so we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. I'll let you take a second, pause it if you need to, decide which one feels right to you, and I will put the times to go to for each reading down in the text, the description. Okay, I'm going to start with 1. Those of you who are drawn to the first, we have the 8 of Rings or Pentacles, the 3 of Rings, and the Page of Cups. So the 8 of Pentacles is a funny one because we'll talk about it being things like apprenticeships, and nowadays that can mean things like internships. But often it's getting to a specific skill level where you really are ready to take on everything by yourself, get new responsibilities, make more money, or just have more things that come in because of this. But we usually still feel like there's somebody looking over our shoulder, there's somebody still telling us what to do, there's somebody still saying it's time. I love this with the crossed fingers because there's that feeling of like, well, we're far enough in, I hope this is the right thing, or I hope that we get farther soon, as the 8s are also kind of my are we there yet cards. And I love this particularly with the 3, because the 3 is all about teamwork and finding the right people to work with. So these together have this idea of like leveling up, and now it's time to kind of branch out and get the right people in your circle for that next step so you can really go farther. With the Page of Cups, we see things like new loves, but the energy of the pages for me is usually a little scattered, a little easy to distract. The Page of Cups is often chasing a new love every day. So there is a little bit of naivete there. So while you're looking for the right people to bring you in, this feels like kind of a warning, not to trust anything that's too good to be true, not to take the first thing or to chase every little possibility, but to really focus. These cards indicate that you know what you're doing, and if you pick the right partners and are very smart about what you're doing, then it is totally okay to take that next step and will be very beneficial to you. This is just kind of a heads up. Having confidence without overconfidence. If you were drawn to the second pile, we have the 2 of Cups, the Star, and the 3 of Cups. The 2 of Cups is the unconditional love card. I love that they managed to get expressions on these skeletons' faces. Like, look how in love they are. Oftentimes we'll see people talk about the lovers as the cards they really want to get if they're in a romance reading, but really this is the one you're looking for. Not that this is a romance reading. This is just general, what's out there. But it is that card. It is also the card when I say unconditional love. It can be for yourself. It can be parental. It really is more about the appreciation and the feeling than it is about being romantic. Here with the star, the card of hope and following the right path is interesting. I almost feel like maybe there's some hesitance to get involved with a new thing, whether it be dating, romance, that sort of thing, or maybe you found a new path for yourself. The thing is, sometimes when we are exploring a new thing, a new interest, a new hobby, a new job, and it doesn't automatically line up with the things we've done before, we get sort of afraid that we're out of character and that something's going to go wrong. But if it is your interest, it is a skill you want to pursue, then it's absolutely in character. You know, people change. Who we are is fluid. And growth is only going to come when that's embraced. So this unconditional love feels very much like unconditional love that you need for yourself. So the Three of Cups, with that, often about community and finding your community, or, you know, getting together with other people, embracing that. Here, with the cups directly pouring into the other, it feels like taking in other people's stories, like listening. This is a great way, if you are on a new path, to learn about it. If you've joined a new community, if you're having questions about your identity and you're like, who is this? Because like I said, if this is something that feels like who you are, then it's in character, even if it doesn't seem like something you've done before. But if it is something new, listening to the experiences of others, seeking out that information and wisdom is only ever going to benefit you. So together, there's just this feeling of something new on the horizon, something you're very interested in, with some hesitation on how to start. And it starts by trusting yourself and seeking out the people who will best help you get to that next step. For those of you who were drawn to the third pile, we have the Ten of Cups, the Page of Rings, and the Eight of Swords. The Ten of Cups is a card of happy endings. Yes, there are nooses on this. But ultimately, it is the card of happy endings. That said, endings are endings. And Cups is also the suit of emotions. And sometimes when this card comes up, I like to remind people that when you get to that end, there can be all sorts of emotions. You know, it may be a happy ending, but that doesn't mean it didn't come with bittersweet aspects. It didn't come with sad times that you had to overcome. So the big thing is not feeling ashamed if your happy ending doesn't feel like pure ecstasy and joy. It's okay to have mixed emotions. That's just how learning and growing goes. The Page of Pentacles is a great one after this, because there's new adventures to chase, new aspects for resources. There's still that curious vibe when you get to the pages. I mentioned in one of the earlier piles that the pages come with kind of a flighty feeling because they're just curious. They're going everywhere. So there is that moment when you have ended something, you've come to a culmination, you have finished. Maybe it's a graduation, maybe it is a new stage of a relationship, maybe it's ending a relationship. Often this card's associated with like weddings and families, but it can very easily be things like graduation. And now it's time to find the next step and go on with that. This ending beginning quandary becomes really more involved when we see the Eight of Swords, because the Eight of Swords has this feeling of being stuck. Eights are my Are We There Yet cards, but the Eight of Swords specifically is being stuck in your own head. Often you see there's a blindfold and swords around her, but she could easily get out of all of it if she just could see it. And the reason she can't see it is because of the blindfold. She thinks she can't take off the blindfold because she's tied up, but the ropes are really loose, which again, she would see if she could take off the blindfold. So the blindfold is metaphorical for inner blocks. Mental blocks. See here, like it's the tooth, but it's like everything is opposing it. The truth is, nothing is opposing you but you here. It feels like you're stuck because transitions are tricky and change is hard and choices are always, well, for some of us, for some people, choices are great. But decisions can be very hard. And so it's time to take a step back and listen to yourself and kind of lean towards what you really want instead of listening to what everybody has told you you want. As always, let me know what you thought of this. Let me know if there's a different kind of reading you would like to see. I do the readings every other week to give you a better idea of the deck that I had reviewed the week before. But I really only want to be putting out what makes sense. So let me know if this was good, something you enjoyed, something you found helpful, or if there is something else you would like to see.